Are you dealing with instability or weakness that just makes it really hard to trust your knee again? Maybe you're not able to cut, pivot, land, things that used to feel automatic, or maybe you're not even able to go deep on your favorite lift. Either way, what sucks most about this, in my opinion, is the lack of confidence that keeps going lower and lower as you're able to do less and less, and your progress is just slowing down or even stopping altogether. As a physical therapist and tricking athlete myself, I've gone through this personally and professionally, and what's really helped the most are exercises like the ones we're going to be going over in this video. My name is Dr. Neil Toussaint with TrickStrong, and today we're going to be going over 3 knee strengthening exercises to really help with prehab, resilience, strength, and control so that you can move how you want. All right, let's get into it. As athletes, we really need to be able to control forces in all angles and ranges of motion. So this first exercise is going to be really good for that lateral plane of motion. It's the Cossack squat. But first, we're going to go through the lateral lunge, which is a precursor to the Cossack squat, so you can get the most out of this exercise. We're going to start you off with the body weight lateral lunge. You're going to get your legs wider than shoulder width apart. So you're going to choose one leg to squat over, and you're going to lunge towards that leg. The other leg is going to stay flat on the ground, and your knees and toes should be pointing forward. As you squat down, you're going to be tracking that knee over the toe, so it should be going directly over yourself. You should try to maintain an upright body posture, and that's really going to help isolate it more to the quads. Of course, you're going to get some glutes as well, but the more upright you are, the more quad dominant this exercise is going to be. To progress it, you can easily just grab a weight, or you can get a barbell. I would advise you guys to really prioritize range of motion before adding weight. So try to get as deep as you possibly can in the lateral lunge, and if you're lacking in the range of motion department, then use the exercise to get a deeper range of motion before you add weight. To progress this further, we're gonna go to the Cossack squat. The main difference between the lateral lunge and the Cossack squat is going to be that other leg. So you're squatting over one leg, for example. The other leg is going to be turning out in the Cossack squat. So now you're going to get your hips more open in this variation. You're going to get your adductors involved a little bit, and it also allows you to get deeper into the range of motion. So you're definitely going to need a lot of ankle, knee, and hip mobility in order to get into this position fully. Same with the lateral lunge. I would progress this with minimal to no weight to start to really get that range of motion locked in. And then once you have your full range of motion, now you can fill it in with strength. So now you want to load it all the way from heavy kettlebells and even to barbells. And you can really load this exercise just as you would a back squat, as long as you're strong and stable in this position. And that's the value of these exercises. You're going to get strong and stable in varied positions, not just 2 legs, things that don't really transfer that well to stability in sports. So this is why I would recommend this over a traditional back squat, for example, in terms of improving your knee stability and control. We just worked your knee strength and stability in a lateral range of motion. Next, we're going to work it through rotation. As you know, the knee is primarily a hinge joint, so while it does have some rotation, it primarily bends and extends. So that being said, we really need to be able to control the rotational forces at the knee using not only the knee, but the hip and the ankle as well. The kettlebell windmill is an amazing exercise in order to do that. So it's going to help train our knee through rotation, protecting us against those rotational forces that could tear your ACL, MCL, meniscus, etc. Without weight, it looks like the triangle pose in yoga, so it looks pretty easy. But once we load this exercise, you're going to see just how much strength and stability that it requires. So to start, you're going to bring your working leg forward, and then your back leg is going to be at a 45-degree angle. It's not going to be directly behind your front leg, though. It's going to be staggered to the side, so you still have a relatively wide base of support around shoulder width. From here, you're going to reach that hand closest to the front leg down towards the ground, and the other arm is going to be pointed towards the ceiling. You're going to be rotating through your chest to look up at that hand that is overhead. As you're doing this primarily through your hips, so your back should not be rounding and your knee shouldn't actually be bending too much. This is more of a hip dominant motion, but you're definitely going to feel this through your hamstrings and adductors. I remember when I first did this exercise and I started really loading it, I was very confused as to why my hamstrings were destroyed the next day. But I thought, it felt just like I did Nordics, like to failure. And so I really didn't know why I was so sore. And what I found was that it was this exercise. So you're really training at a very lengthened position. So it doesn't take much weight for you to really feel this one. Just as with our last exercise, you want to master it body weight and be able to get to your full range of motion before you load it. Once you feel comfortable with your range of motion in a body weight position, then you want to load it using a dumbbell or kettlebell. You're going to hold it overhead, and then you're going to spiral down just as we're showing you here, keeping that same form. You really want to hinge through the hips, like I said. You really want to stress that by pushing the hips back. The further you push the hips back, the more you're going to feel it loading through your hamstrings, and the more you're going to feel it in your hip and not your lower back. Progress with this exercise is really just going to be using heavier and heavier weights, and maybe going down with more and more control, being more mindful of your stability as you progress. This is a really good one for your core stability as well, and that's why we actually have included it in one of our core videos on YouTube, because it was just so powerful for not only your hips and knees, but also your lower back and your core. For this one, I would advise 3 sets, 1 to 2 times per week, really going heavier and heavier week after week. So you want to aim for about 5 to 8 reps until you feel like you're basically fatiguing. If you're at that level, then you know that you're using the appropriate amount of weight. It shouldn't be very easy to get to 10, 15 reps. We actually want to use this, just as all the exercises in this video, for true strengthening. So get the reps low, intensity high, and enjoy. All the first 2 exercises we went over in this video stressed lateral and rotational stability. This next exercise, we can really load it up pretty heavy, really stressing strength and resilience and the ability for your knee to decelerate, which is going to protect it against injury. The last exercise we're going over today is the lunge. But not any lunge, not the walking lunge, not the cardio lunge, or whatever you want to do for your warm-up. We're going to do a barbell lunge with a pause, and this is brutal. So first, of course, we're going to start body weight, making sure you have the full range of motion without any pain, which is really important, because I see a lot of pain with this sometimes with clients where that back knee is getting a lot of pressure. If this is the case, you really want to master it body weight before you're loading it up and getting even to barbell with pain. Like, it doesn't make any sense. So you want to master this not only from a range of motion standpoint, but from a pain standpoint before you continue. I like to keep my legs about shoulder width apart. So if you're looking from the front, it should be just as if you're standing, but that one leg is going to go back and the other one's going to remain forward. From the side view, you can see that our legs pretty much lock out at the top, just as if you were doing a squat, but your legs are in a split stance. You're going to drop your weight 50% straight through the front and back leg. This is the traditional way we want to do it, where we're remaining pretty upright. Obviously, you can have a little bit of a chest lean, but you don't want it to be too excessive. You want to share that load between the quads and the front and the back. You can go 50-50, or you can actually start to stress that back leg by being even more upright and maybe even leaning back slightly. That's going to stress the back knee. This is going to be a more intense variation, and I would only recommend it once you've mastered the regular lunge with and without weight. To add weight, you're simply going to hold kettlebells or dumbbells in your hand, and you can go down just as you would normally. What I really like doing is adding a pause at the bottom of our weighted lunges for about 3 to 5 seconds. This is really going to help increase the strength and stability demands of the exercise. So you might not need as much weight, but you're going to be working a lot harder. Once you master this, you're really going to feel that you can stop at any moment. Your landings are going to get a lot cleaner because you're training that deceleration ability, and you're going to be able to cut and pivot a lot cleaner as well. You should feel a lot more stability in your lower body by doing this drill. I really want you guys to treat these exercises as if they are the main exercise of the day. So what I mean by this is you want to have the intensity where you're trying to get stronger in these positions. You're not just going to be doing this for prehab or warm up, but you're actually going to be doing really strong sets with these. If that's the case, then you can do 1 to 2 days a week of this training, and you can do about 2 to 3 sets. In this video, we hit the 3 functional movement patterns of your lower body, which would include the squat, the hinge, and the lunge. You always want to include these movements in your training, and today we went over ways to help improve your strength and stability in difficult positions. First, we trained our squat pattern through the Cossack squat progression, really stressing depth, strength, and stability in a lateral plane of motion. Next, we trained our hinge pattern with a kettlebell windmill, really stressing rotation. And then lastly, we had a strength-focused lunge to build strong and resilient knees, especially with that pause at the bottom. And some of you guys might not have ever done that with a barbell, so that's gonna be a really awesome progression for you guys to really up your strength past levels you've ever had before. These are the type of exercises that really protect you as an athlete against injury, because they're gonna be those, as we said, odd positions, those positions that we might find ourselves in when we're doing our sport or activity. And if you like this type of training, definitely check out the TrickStrong RX app. We guide you from rehab to peak performance, really stressing that injury resilience every step of the way. We have full body programs from the head to the toe, core, and everything in between. And if you like this video, definitely check out our Bulletproof Lower Body series, and that's going to have strength, mobility, and resilience for the hips, knees, and ankles. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed this. Train hard, stay safe, and see you soon for the next one.